Well, Kyle?
Yes, Garrett.
What's the point?
Of what?
It's been so long since we've done the Wall of Trials. I had to remind myself that it's a mega wall. All the trials are on the wall. We're doing Shadowbringers trials. Like, what's the point? Just put them all in Epic. Take whatever was there before. Take this whole wall, shove it to the left, call it done. There's just no point. There's no... Why waste the precious time we have on this earth with debating greatness?
Well, because we need to force some things out of Banger with the passage of time.
Time is linear and finite. And I just don't, it's just, we're just debating perfection. We're just debating some of the greatest boss fights ever put into an MMO. It's the Wall of Existentialism.
But in what order? And what must fall from the Banger epic to make room? That's what we're here for today. Such as the amphitheater. I think amphitheater's kind of crusty. Like, let's put amphitheater in grindable. It's the problem with having it all on one wall, right? The passage of time. Our expectations have been raised. Our tastes have developed.
It's what everyone who's being clever down in the comments has been waiting for. I see you in there and we're like, this is the greatest Wicked Bear of all time. And you're like, greatest of all time so far. And you know what? You're right. You're right. You're right, YouTube comments that keep me up at all hours of the night. You're right. Those of you I don't know in real life that live rent-free in my brain, you're absolutely right. The game gets better.
Shocking. We gotta get moving. This video is how long already? Let's dive in.
Excuse me. We gotta get dancing.
No, not yet. Not yet. We got 4 trials out today and there ain't no room. I still propose we make room in Epic, because we all know what's gonna happen here today. We're gonna debate how epic the various epics are.
Okay, all right. So we're starting today by fighting about old trials?
Yes. I mean, are we really gonna fight?
Wreath of Snakes, get it out of there. Get the f out of there, Wreath of Snakes.
I agree. Yep.
Nope.
Why do we do that?
I don't know. Tidal Wave of Snakes. Tidal Wave of Snakes is really cool. Tidal Wave of Snakes is super cool.
Final Steps of Faith is kind of crusty now. I do really like it. I like Nidhogg.
That's Nidhogg, right? Ew, yeah. There's no... How is Final Steps of Faith on top of Hell's Kier? Hell's Kier is way better.
That was a large debate.
It was this much hair ago. I don't remember this.
You want to just grab Final Steps of Faith and put it in Banger? Like on top of Wreath of Snakes
get
there?
It out of here. I don't even think... It doesn't even hold up to Thordan.
Oh, Thordan's wonderful.
Thordan is... I think Thordan stays in Epic. I think Hell's Kier stays in Epic. What the hell was Castrum Flamenus?
That would have been Tsukiyomi.
I never recall these from the names of the actual trial. I recall them from the name of the boss.
How dare you confuse your castrums? There's only, what, 10 of them?
Yeah. Where the is Shinryu?
Right here, Royal Menagerie in Banger.
What is wrong with us?
Normal Shinryu, with none of the tail running and the baby phase. So we had done this soon after we did Extreme Royal Menagerie, which I think had us thinking the old Royal Menagerie was kind of just plain.
I've solved it for us, Kyle.
Okay.
Castrum goes on top of Jade Stoa. Hell's Kier goes on top of Jade Stoa. Honestly, Jade Stoa to the bottom of Epic. Just take Jade Stoa, bottom of Epic. Listen, I haven't done the mount grind that you all have done, but I'm starting to understand falling out of love with the Byakko fight if you were to do it more than once. I would be much more excited to do Castrum, to do Hell's Kier, or do Singularity Reactor more than I would be excited to do Jade Stoa. Banger is just crowded.
I mean, but it should be, right? These are the boss battles. These are the big deals. Grindable is just kind of like your, Realm Reborn basics, I kind of like it. I think our lame is appropriate.
Fair.
I'm not going to fight you anymore on Emanation. I'm not insane.
Emanation?
Snake Lady.
Oh, that's why it's forgettable.
Yeah, that's why you put it so low. And I allowed this, I think, so I could have Final Steps of Faith. I think that was the trade. See, this is starting to get a little bit like it was just the time period. This is the problem with looking into the past. I'm glad we rated these as we went through the expansions. Otherwise, the passage of time would have been much crueler. But I do think Amphitheater here should go to Grindable. It's nothing all that special anymore.
It's cooler. I still think Howling Eye is cooler than the Naval, but here we are.
The crystal is crusty. It's a crustalis. The crustalis. It's kind of crusty and weird. and old.
Oh, this is entirely Kyle's fault.
This is graphics in darkness, and they look great.
It's entirely Kyle's fault. It's an
I like the beat.
fight.
It's our first Ascian fight. It has lots of meteors, and I mean, honestly, could use a nice little Ascian phase after doing Hades. It'd be really cool to have a little Ascian phase in there.
Nabrialis is sundered.
That's not an argument. I have to listen to Fan Daniel go on about shit all the time. He's sundered.
Yeah, but he's not going to become some crazy, let's dispense with titles.
You don't know that. you don't know that.
Probably not. Probably not.
Can I move Chrysalis to Grindable then? Because I think we were agreeing on this, right?
Yeah, I would. Again, Howling Eye is my sticking point on Grindable. I would rather do Howling Eye than Chrysalis.
Okay. I'm willing to bend if I can make Snake Lady higher than Thorn March. Just so there's a transaction here.
Do you really think Lady in a Dress is a cooler fight than, oh god, the Moogles worship too hard?
I like Big Lady. I like Big Lady with Blow Kiss.
I can't argue with that. Go for it. I can't argue with that.
Excellent.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah,
We've made some space.
I don't think this is nuts, though. I do think Amphitheater still goes to the top of Grindable. Shiva is a cool fight. Put Amphitheater at the top of all of that. Yeah.
There we go. There we go.
That's it.
All right.
Now that's a wall with some chest hair.
That's not bad. That's not bad right there.
All right.
Let's make a fresh mess.
Let's get to dancing.
I hate the name of the song because every time it comes up, I think it's a spoiler song and I shouldn't listen to it. What angels wake me? Oh shit!
We can't listen
to that. Yeah.
That means this song. Damn, this song like sticks in my brain anytime I end up hearing it. Like this to me, this was my Lahi. I mean, we got the Lahi, and yeah, it was an earworm, but the like it just gets in there, and it hurts my brain. We got to see this performed live.
We did, yeah.
And vocally, it astounds me that you can actually roll the fa la las so quickly into the back end of the lyrics that precede it. Because it just goes. And it's so staccato. Everything's quick and brief. I really like this track. However, Kyle, I don't get the point. Like, the music we're going to talk about today, it's bananas. There's no point. Like, why are we... Every track is kind of insane, and it's just a ever-growing ascension of insane... Actually, I think because of what we have here today, I'm going to show my hand a little bit today, Kyle. I think the Crown of the Immaculate is going to get some shade.
I was thinking the same thing.
I love this boss room. I was so impressed the first time I walked in here, and I'm still impressed today when it shows up in a roulette. Or for some reason we decide to go do it, or when we revisited it on Extreme. I love the inside of the palace, and not every trial has this. We have a progression of visuals where the palace transforms into a gorgeous forest, further sinking poor old Gridania down to my least favorite forest in all of Final Fantasy XIV.
I think Dancing Plague should just lose a couple points for that weird no noise thing that happens at the beginning of it.
Oh, yeah. That when Titania's delivering lines, and you're just thinking, they really should be voice acted.
There's no music. Why? Like, and you check your sound systems, and you're like checking your stream, and you're like, is everyone okay out there?
Did you see Last Jedi in the theater?
No, I don't think I did.
Okay, so I went to the theater, and there's a piece of paper scotch taped onto the door that said, "The Last Jedi contains a scene where there is no audio. This is intentional. Please don't come and complain to us." And I remember going in and being like, that's weird, and ended up being a really cool scene. This made me feel like something was wrong with my computer or the game. So what do you think about the track? What do you think about What Angels Wakes Me?
I'm with you that I don't know what the lyrics are, but I do like the part where it does the mini mini me mini mini me mini mini me mini mini. Yeah, like that. It's a fun song. You're fighting a big fairy. What's wrong with that? Summons giant trees that do the mechanics.
Well, they start as like little trees, and then they become giant trees in Power Ranger fashion.
There's a giant fist that slams into the ground. I mean, you can't Well, it's a square arena. It's so boring. Like, welcome to Final Fantasy. Like, the whole wall is nothing but squares and circles. I have no notes in that department because there's nothing to compare to. I mean, I guess pour one out for Cape Westwind, which was once a jetty, a hillside, a cliff.
Why are we pouring anything out for what is in the bottom of the bottom of the bottom? It's so bad it's not even a trial anymore.
I think we just kind of get straight to fighting. I think we get straight to just putting it on the wall because there ain't much more to say about it that we didn't already say in other videos. Video up there in the corner if you want to click it.
As much as I like it, I don't think there's anything in it as impressive as anything happening in any of the Four Lords fights. The Four Lords, I think, are becoming my check by which I measure all future trials.
I agree, and we don't have the Warring Triad on here, which is also a great judge of mechanics because those went into the Four Lords and sort of established what a transformation phase boss fight can be, particularly with someone like Zervon, with a big, big phase change. This phase change isn't as impressive as our Castrum Fulnis, our Hell's Keers, our Singularity Reactor. Jade Stoa, we've done a little mount farming at this point. We've done some extremes, and I agree with you. You can feel the laboriousness of some of those more funsy creative parts. So I'm feeling putting this below Singularity Reactor. Because it's a good fight. It's very pretty. It shows how things have advanced. But I don't think it's top of the barrel.
This is the problem with the Mega Wall. This is the problem. Because I think Wreath of Snakes is better than this, but I'm not sure. Poor Nidhogg. I'm not sure Nidhogg's better than Wreath of Snakes.
Just crank up the saturation in your brain. Heaven's Word was very gray. It was just gray time, snow.
I think Titania might be a banger.
I think the danger of what you're doing is you're sentencing the next trial to banger as well.
I'm very comfortable with that.
You're okay. All right. Hey, I'm okay with that. I think it was below Royal Menagerie then.
I think we were premature in our shuffling at the beginning.
Yeah?
I think Royal Menagerie goes to the top of banger. Final Steps goes below Wreath of Snakes.
I don't like Wizard Snake Man, Counselor Snake Man.
The second phase of that fight is such a feast for the eyes, and the mechanics live up to the feast of the eyes, in my opinion.
That's fair. That's fair. Honestly, show my hand here. I think I don't understand the mechanics well enough to really deduce what the hell happened in there yet. I look forward to an extreme where I actually...
Nidhogg just does dragon things.
He does a lot of cool dragon. He does the flying things, the eyeball explosions, the Astidian split, the multi-dragon general fight. Like, it's just all the MMO things you ever wanted. Big dragon, council fight, split phase, man phase. I'm not really into, like, man phase for dragons. I think dragons should say dragons, but still, you know, it worked in the story.
All right, do you think Shinryu Normal is worse than Nidhogg?
I don't think so. Royal Menagerie, we're moving up.
Yep.
So we can put Dancing Plague where it was. That kind of looks nice. I mean, look, hanging out right in there next to Pull a Tribute.
The gameplay experience of fighting, say, Ryu left more of an impression on me than the gameplay experience of fighting Titania. The only reason Titania is more iconic in my mind is because Titania is also a character that we contend with in the awesome MSQ that is Shadowbringers. And I think what we always try to do, and we struggle, but we try to do, is take these as game content experiences outside of the narrative itself.
I think Titania's good company there with Susano. You know, revelry,
Let the rebel!
endless dancing, horrible cursing. Not really, but you know what I mean. Like, I think it looks good there. I think they'd be in good company. I think they'd be friends.
Crown of the Immaculate. Innocence. Vothry. Oh no, he's hot extreme.
Yes, that is the joke, yes.
Yes. Yes. Not since Little Frogman became Big Hot Frogman have I been so surprised by a character being hot in this game.
Huh. I get,
I think Byakuya, honestly, is the most shocking. It's
yeah.
making me feel things.
I mean, have you seen a tiger, man? They're ripped. They're handsome beasts.
Let's just start off with music, because that's what we've been starting with. How do you feel about the track Insanity?
I've compared to those around it that we're going to be talking about today, it's forgettable.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
It is not bad. It's a solid remix of Shadowbringers boss music, because that's what it is. It's a remix of Insatiable. I think the original rendition of Insatiable is better. And I think this is the least memorable of the 5 tracks we're going to talk about in today's 4 trials.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Hades cheats, by the way. The first track is just straight up the Shadowbringers theme.
Yeah. I have multiple songs and all that stuff. Yeah, that happens. We did die to Titania. I do wonder if the Crown of Immaculate's content bulge was so great that they said to themselves, there's no way we can make this harder right now. We got to get people through this game. They've got like an hour of cutscenes on either side of this. They're going to want to keep playing. The end is still hours away. Let's not make Crown of Immaculate too awesome. Let's not make it too big. Let's not cause anybody to wipe.
We don't want it to be too erect.
Yeah, because this is the false end. And even adding that sort of quality of like, was that it? Was that what we were building for this whole time? Vothri was a pushover? Are you serious? Adds to the gunshot into Amarot and everything that comes with Shadowbringers. So in that way, I don't want to judge it too harshly because I think it should be a low point of sense in the game.
I will always remember that was such a big stream night. And I loved Mount Golg and that lead up in like dungeon straight to trial. I'm like, hell yeah, let's do this. We finally get to fight like Vothri's such a fixture over the course of all of Shadowbringers. And then you're right, it's over. And I immediately got excited because to me I took this as a flex from everyone behind this game going, yeah, of course he's a pushover. We have such sights to still show you. I love Mount Golg. And really, I know we try and only compare these other trials, but I'm struggling not to compare it to Mount Golg. I think Mount Golg as a dungeon is a lot cooler and more grandiose than Crown of the Immaculate as a trial.
The Vothri phase is kind of boring.
This was our forgot that was a thing because we spent actually we didn't spend that long doing the extreme.
No, we had one lockout.
It skips the Vothri phase if you go do the extreme.
Which is fair because not a lot happens in there.
No, the mechanics are fun. They're pretty simple in the grand scheme of things. They're really simple and normal, and they're pretty simple and extreme by extreme standards. We're not here to critique the extremes, but I can't really divorce the two from my mind. I think this would be a great first extreme for somebody.
Absolutely. It's enough of a set piece that you remember it. You can feel the difficulty go up without it being so punishing. And mainly the mechanics are entirely readable. There is nothing you're going to experience in here that you can't put together for yourself.
Yeah.
Staring at you, Tsukiyomi, with the moon holes. There's the moon hole. No, moon hole, come on for science.
Oh, you're right. Look at that. Oh my God.
Nope, I died in the moon hole.
As far as vibes, it's Mount Golg, so it's great. I love the way this looks. It's one of my favorite visuals in all of Final Fantasy XIV. As we ascended Mount Golg and we got to the point where we're getting to this like ether-generated marble and the palace and the massive staircase in the distance, I love the way this looks. So I'm really into the vibes here. There is, however, not really a memorable phase change, at least when it comes to the boss arena. There's probably one of the most memorable phase changes in the game for the boss itself.
And the sword wings are awesome, but they just don't, in that small arena, escalate into something that is truly noteworthy. And in that way, if I was, trials aren't very good for like getting tomes and XP, but if there was ever an event where I was just grinding the crap out of trials and I got Crown of Immaculate, I'd say, hell yes. Let's get through this swiftly, everybody. Well done. So I think it's top of grindable in that way. Like of all the things we have in grindable, it showcases an evolution of the game. It is well crafted, well put together, but a purposeful low point in terms of dramaticness and scale.
I think the boss is just cooler than Ravana, maybe Susano.
Oh, I have a thing for animated armors, and I can't get behind that. I mean, big hair is cool. I think you're cool, Garrett. Keep it long, bro. But if you had a helmet on, you'd be a lot cooler. I cannot abide putting it above Ravana, which is one of the coolest Power Ranger Big Bad Beetleborg.
The armor, the wings are fucking swords.
They are neat. They fold out real cool. I do like my Queen of Blades business.
Sword wings. I was going to make a case for Crown of the Immaculate right above Dancing Plague. I just think Innocence is such a cool design. I think Innocence is a cooler design than Warrior of Light.
You would really take no screaming over revelry and glory of combat?
We fight Ravana in a giant dirt pit.
Which turns into like a fiery hellhole.
You're going to have to try harder than that to impress me with a fiery hellhole in the game where, like, every expansion, we have at least 2 of them.
But Pool of Tribute is like a treasure room.
I think if we did a tier of treasure rooms, it would get last place.
Oh, okay, Mr. Strong Opinions.
I can't help being right. Well, hold on. I don't want to win because I refuse to succeed.
Because I want to pick the video,
I want to win because I convinced you. We're not talking about how awesome the cutscene is at the end of this. We're not cheating. We're not bringing in story because we don't think about story when we're talking about when we're ranking the experience of just playing the trial. But there's story in the trial. You cannot deny that this is one of the best and most surprising boss transitions in the game.
True. Yes. True. Yes. It is a trope I really like. The beauty is only skin deep kind of business.
And this flips it on its head. It's like ugly outside, beautiful inside, still a monster.
Yeah, but it's such a plastic beauty that it's eerie. We just don't spend a lot of time romancing it in that way. I mean, you're making excellent points.
Ravana isn't banger solely because we love Ravana.
Yes, and all the Voth. The Voth are awesome. You're really going to throw it under high on high we stand.
What song is that? Ravana's a really basic ass fight though.
But it's Heaven's Word, right? We need some Heaven's Word representation in Banger
than anything in Ravana.
Force in your hand. Above or below Dancing Plague?
Oh, below, easily.
Okay.
Dancing Plague is a better fight. Full stop. We're fighting this hard for Banger.
Banger's a great category. I'm very happy with Final Steps of Faith squeezing in there, some Royal Menagerie on. I think Banger's looking great right now, and I think Epic has room for our next one.
It's time for dying It's time for dying Gasp.
Did you do that on purpose?
No.
It's the hand.
It's a giant hand. We fight giant hands.
It's all about the hand. The hands are blocking your camera and you can't see.
Can't
and
see
everyone's
anything.
Like, pull out more, and they're cheating. Or the people who actually know are like, pull in.
It's the dying gasp of my eyesight trying to see anything that's happening in phase 2. This is like Shinryu, the sequel.
Let's dive into the music here. But you got Shadowbringers.
Yes,
you argue.
Yeah. Phase 1 is Who Brings Shadow, which is literally just the majority of the Shadowbringers title track, the rock portion, all the guitar, just shit going hard. One brings shadow, one brings the light. You've heard it a million times. Hades cheats. It cheats. This is an unassailable track. It is, I think, maybe is it the best music in all of Final Fantasy XIV? It's definitely better than Endwalker. We're there, I can say that.
I think if we're getting on the music here, obviously you can't complain about Shadowbringer soundtrack, but you know the back half's a little normal.
The back half is incredible.
It's epic, but it's kind of like
incredible.
It's just kind of Google 10 hours epic music.
Ah, no, dude, it's our second remix of Insatiable that we're going to talk about today. If you listen to it, it has a bunch of the pieces of Insatiable in there, but now it's full on operatic epic movie music version.
I didn't pick up on the references there.
Pull up the track.
Okay.
I win.
Okay, I admit defeat, but I was too busy shitting my pants, so it's okay.
Oh, I'm with you. It's just I went back and actually gave the track a listen in preparation for today, and I was stunned. I love this rendition.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
There's like there's
pretty good.
no actual lyrics, but the way that like the strings and the horn, like you like your mind goes, "We fall." Even though there's no one singing "We Fall," but the instruments in the background hit that melody perfectly, and it's so full. Out of context, you just be like, okay, yeah, give me 12 hours of epic movie music, but the game has fucking earned it at this point. You just quoted me in a
silly voice. That wasn't someone else you were just making fun of. That was me minutes ago.
You see what you sound like?
I'm wrong. You're right. I'm wrong.
I wasn't just making fun. I was making a point that the game earns its, I just want to do an epic version of this motif. Yeah, okay. Go for it. You earned it.
No one's going to complain if it was worth the journey. And this is a amazing climax and amazing phase change. Even without knowing the boss's origin story and who you're fighting, you could look at this and say, damn, that's a pretty good torso fight. Did I expect more from the grabbing orb part? I guess so. But it was visually very striking. So you've won on music. I'm assuming you're ready to win on vibes, but bring it.
No items, Fox only, final destination.
Yes, it's very crystalline and floaty.
It's a simple arena because the boss is about to become the arena.
Well, and the boss is the holodeck. He's making all this. This is all his projection. It could be anything he wants, and he wanted it to be a destroyed city to start with, previously space, and then back into space and mask space.
You think Emmett's in the live stream playing Starfield just being like, I fucking love this shit?
Can you build an empire? No, he's more of a Total War guy.
Emmett exclusively plays RTSs. It's a great torso fight, as you said. So the vibes are good. The music is top notch. And the mechanics, even in normal, it throws the kitchen sink at you. This is a phenomenal boss fight by any standard.
Yeah, and it does one of my favorite things, wizard to monster.
I mean, it's monster wizard to full-on monster.
I want you to know I was going to put this at the top of Epic without even thinking about the music.
Oh, were you?
I was just...
Yeah, I was. Oh, yeah. This is my favorite fight in the game.
Perfect.
I love it. The mechanics are so freaking good. They're so good, and I screwed up so many times. And don't even get us started on our experience with Extreme.
You can go watch that video.
Kyle didn't blink for a really long time. Is that it? That's all we have to say? We're not going to talk about how awesome Broken Faith is as an attack and how I love that it makes you clench so hard you can make diamonds in your butthole.
We have made at least 2 videos on this subject. I think we're done. I think we're good. We can put it. It is well documented. Live streamed, multiple videos. Hades good, everybody.
Captivity is amazing. Doom is super memorable. And I never got Hellborn Yop right. I miss you, Emmett. All right. Let's bring it home. Seed of Sacrifice.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Did I?
You want to bring it home? Riding home. Can't go home.
Let's ride home.
Yeah, there we go.
Or as I like to call it, seat of learning to put LB3 on my bars.
Well, yes, there is that part of it that honestly kind of a weird part of it. It's a hurdle, artificial lengthener of content.
It's the Byakuya air phase. It's the Vothri transformation. It's any trial fight that has a long, unskippable middle section that's really cool the first time you do it, but the second you need to see it more than once gets a little bit long in the tooth and you kind of wish it wasn't there.
I just mean like the difficulty of that. Like there is no trial on the MSQ that has required us, and I don't think there's a single one on this list, where we've had a required limit break. There are limit breaks that have saved us, like a healer limit break that's gotten us to the end of Singularity Reactor, and we definitely used one at the end of Alexander.
You're right.
But this is required.
You're right.
Straight up required.
Straight up required. And I was given a piece of advice very early on when I started tanking in Final Fantasy XIV that said, don't worry about using LB3. You'll probably make some people mad if you use it as a tank. This is like the early stages of me learning how to like tank Realm Reborn dungeons. And I took that to heart. So I just never even bothered opening up my spellbook and finding out where Limit Break was. And I've ended up playing almost entirely through my first time on Final Fantasy XIV as a tank. I started as a summoner. Once I got Dark Knight, I never looked back. I've been Dark Knight pretty much the whole time. So never really Limit Breaked. up until this point. So we died. We died a lot. We died a lot to the Warrior of Light. But there's more to it than that. The mechanics are really good in this fight. One of these days, I'm going to learn and actually commit to memory how fire and blizzard attacks function in this game.
I want to rewind for a hot moment because this is my favorite song in all of Shadowbringers.
Really?
This is my favorite song on this board.
Oh.
The culmination of To the Edge that takes all these pieces from all the songs we've heard. I mean, yeah, we kind of did that with our adventure through the Hero's Gauntlet, but this, the weight of it, the sadness of Elidibus, with the riding home mixing in with the Amarok kind of sound with the ticking clock, it's an experience. This song is a culmination of Shadowbringers. There's a reason like 5.3 is the end of Shadowbringers.
It's a really good track. I do wish it went a little harder.
You think this could go harder?
It feels like it's building towards a proper rock go-off, and it never comes.
I'm trying to respond without being crude. You get to the riding home, like with the like that build and that ticking clock and everything. The hearing the riding home to me is that climax. And it's more than enough because it's got a melancholy feel to it. You're supposed to feel mixed up by the song.
It's a really good song. It never crescendos.
I don't think it should.
I think it's missing a piece. There's a piece from this that's missing. This would be my favorite song of Final Fantasy XIV. Instead, I think it's just it's one of the best, but it's not quite there for me.
I don't think, if it went harder, I don't think the following scene would make much sense where you sprinkle your fruity pebbles on the ground for baby Elidibus. Like if this was like,
that's fair.
Friday, just like,
that's fair.
And like you'd like kick him in the face, kick him off the crystal tower, throw the rest of the crystals
fight,
after him.
This fight is so outlandish.
It is very wild.
I'm splitting hairs. I think this song is incredible, but it doesn't quite get there for me.
I think mechanically and certainly boss model wise, it doesn't get there for me. I don't have any nostalgia for the Warrior of Light look that we're being presented with.
It's a good model of a mono-ass looking human fights in this game. This is probably last place for me. I think Innocence looks cooler, and I think Omega MF looks way cooler.
That's interesting, because it's not something I grew up with. It's not something I've connected with in the past.
I didn't really grow up with it either, but I had a lot of friends in art school that were obsessed, and Amano actually came and did a demo at our college, which was cool as shit.
Damn, that was pretty sweet, man.
It was dope. What I was trying to get to is that in the grand scheme of all of the Amano and Amano adjacent human bosses that we've had in this game, the Warrior of Light isn't my all-time favorite.
It's very easy to remember the Limit Break part because that was the big dramatic started all over again. The sword part was cool, where like the sword was drawing shapes on the ground. You had to get out of the shapes.
Oh, I love that mechanic. Even though I went back and I looked at our footage and you can clearly see me just get absolutely nailed by the first one. Like everything goes dark and it traces a triangle and you got to get to the edges before you get owned.
So is the Limit Break a good dramatic moment, or is it a burden of execution upon the entire audience and not that fun? I think it's more in like the not that fun territory. At least if you're the tank getting in there for the first time, gonna embarrass yourself.
I'm not a fan of binary death. Like do the thing or die. Like I'm not a huge mechanically doesn't do a lot for me, and I don't feel the game did anything at all to teach me to LB3 at any point up to this point. It does feel good to do it right. It feels terrible. Like even the first time I tried it, we timed it wrong. I timed it.
I say we. Small window.
I timed it wrong, and that just
so small.
God, that feels bad.
Yeah,
you got to do the whole phase all over again, and not like it just resets you to Emmett snapping and you get back into it. Nope, you got to do the whole phase one all over again. So yeah, I'm a little salty. I'm a little salty about it. Some of it, yeah, public embarrassment, definitely playing a role. But from a game design perspective, I think it's a little cheap.
This is my, outside of Big Fat Tacos, this is my most hummed song in the entire game. And I've hummed a lot of songs.
It wasn't for me until I came back from FanFest because they play that music video like multiple times an hour on the floor of FanFest.
It's like being stuck in line.
I remember the hot walk back to the hotel, and I'd just be like,
what a pickle of a final trial for our little MSQ journey through trials here. Yeah, I mean, maybe the mechanics, particularly with the limit break, are a little rough. I think the sword is super cute. I look forward to seeing what they do in the extreme for this one. It's a climax, and I like the Elidibus climax. I like where it goes story-wise. But I'm kind of feeling bangery about it.
Seed of Sacrifice and Banger. All the Warrior of Light showing up is so cool. I really don't care for the Crystal Tower raids, but I love the Crystal Tower. And so because we're also fighting at like this makeshift throne, well, it's not a makeshift throne. It is a throne on the Crystal Tower because there is a throne on the Crystal Tower. This is like the best use of the Crystal Tower outside of the twinning.
I mean, you're on top of it. It's kind of badass with the rain, the star shower going on in the background.
Yeah, also Emmett shows up, snaps his fingers. It's a busy fight. I think I'm starting to agree with you, but I'm afraid of it because I feel like we're going to hurt a lot of people's feelings that have nostalgia for Final Fantasy 1, but we don't.
No, we don't. If anything, we are the purity test on your nostalgia. We take off the rose-colored glasses because they never existed for us.
I just can't take this anymore. Garbage like you just makes me sick.
I will say this. The closest thing I'll get to a strong statement on all of this is that 5.3 is a patch and Seed of Sacrifice does not hold a candle to the end of 5.0 and Hades, in my opinion. I don't think it's even close. I think Hades is such a better fight than Seed of Sacrifice.
I agree. And I think everything in Epic is transformative and interesting, but it's very well made. The song is incredible. The story moments inside of it are really good. And that's why I want to go like below Royal Menagerie. Kind of, I still want it to be high in banger.
I think it's better than Royal Menagerie.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
This is like, I look at it and I'm like, all right, Hades, landslide victory over this. Tsukiyomi. I think Tsukiyomi is a way more interesting fight, just based on mechanics. I think it's a better fight. Hell's Kier.
Hell's Kier is just fun.
God, those mechanics are so dope.
Yeah.
That is such
really
that is
unique.
one of my favorite MMO boss fights.
Agreed.
I think Thordan is cooler than this for me. I don't think Byakko beats this. Byaku's a very cool fight, but I think it's more spectacle than legitimately interesting boss mechanics. I think the spectacle of Seed of Sacrifice beats out the spectacle of Jade Stoa, and I also think the mechanics of Seed of Sacrifice beat out Jade Stoa. The Byakko's track might be my favorite track in Final Fantasy XIV. But the music's really good in Seed of Sacrifice. I ain't going to go that far. I am not heartless. I am not without soul.
Okay. Sounds like we did it.
I think it goes under Singularity Reactor. I think it's epic. And if you disagree, make your own list.
Make your own list.
This hurt. This was hard.
Yeah, this was really hard. We've talked about doing all on one list for dungeons and doing all one list. And this still doesn't have Warring Triad on it.
I don't think Warring Triad hangs
trials
with anything post Stormblood.
I mean, we could still do the ceremony of putting all in grindable. I don't think any of it's lame.
No. Warring Triad's cool. Warring Triad is like diet for lords to me.
Well, and I don't think I could really do Warring Triad justice to put it on this board yet. I have to redo them because it was our first of the trial series. Yeah, we did A Realm Reborn. Yeah, we did Coils of Bahamut, but like it was such a unique pile of mechanics, particularly like the fall off the rocking platform and Zervon stuff, that I didn't even know what I was looking at. I didn't know the language of Final Fantasy enough to even deduce if what I was seeing was good. I knew that it felt fun, and I damn well liked a lot of the music in there.
So what do you think, dear viewers? How much should we ruffle your feathers? We don't usually do the comments below, but I have a feeling some comments are going to be left whether I ask for them or not.